when Bruce Lee kick, you don't shake your eyes because when you shake your eyes, you cannot see Bruce Lee kick. You know how fast? No, because the roommate, the mix Bruce Lee a lot of pressure. You know, human being, just human being, cannot like a cartoon. No, how fast? That's the fast you can be.
Bruce was a tremendous martial artist, and when we did the fight in the Coliseum in Rome, he just said, "Well, what do you want to do?" I said, "Well, I'll do these techniques, you know." And he said, "Okay, I'll do those." So it was kind of an ad-lib type of a fight. But I think what made the fight so spectacular, it wasn't so much just all the karate that we do most of the time in pictures, but it was the interrelationship between he and I.
小龍係咪真係識打你都唔知啊！真係。
唔係，我認為李小龍梗係好好打咯。
唔係你識嗱，你識武功，講個老實話，你覺得李小龍係咪真係識打嘅先？
梗係啦，
我覺得係識
當然
識
嚇，
當然
即係當然識打嘅。
當然識打。
但係真係
係咪打唔打到咧？真係
真正打起嚟，佢係唔係咁？
係咪啦？係啦。
我認為係咯。
你認為係？
我認為千萬人都會覺得佢係咯。
你咧？
我梗係話係。
你同佢打點啊？
我梗係唔夠佢打。
係咪真啊？你有冇諗過？你有冇諗過你自己可以同佢有得揮咧？
第一，我唔會諗呢樣嘢，因為佢係我嘅前輩，亦都係我嘅偶像。二來咧，我覺得佢嘅
好多人偶像嘅。
佢嘅武術嘅無論喺武術上嘅嗰個貢獻，同埋佢個功夫電影嘅貢獻，佢史無前例。佢係一個好偉大嘅武術家同埋一個電影人。
Guy who only weighed 138 pounds, and he weighed less than that when he passed away. He hit extremely hard. He could hit as hard as a heavyweight. He had real fast twitch muscle fibers, something he's born with. He trained hard. He worked on a lot of his stabilizers and muscles, and especially his speed. I always thought he was like the fastest guy who ever stood in front of me. He had incredible, what I call kind of a Zen level of consciousness. In psychology, we call it the implicit level of consciousness. You didn't know when he was going to squeeze that trigger. And he always knew when you weren't ready. He had blinding speed, especially with his hands. And I know that's because he stood in front of me and he popped me a few times. So I've always told people, I know how hard Bruce Lee could hit. I know how fast he was because he nailed me. And I've always told people, I know what real Jeet Kune Do was because I got popped with it a few times.
Everything, his whole life was related to martial arts. He lived, breathed, fought, moved, everything was dedicated to the highest principle of his own self-evolution. He created himself. Bruce Lee was a little Chinese guy who demanded of himself great excellence. I mean, he was a true artist in that respect. He created himself. And that's what I think. He was an unusual man. He was beautiful. I don't know what to say about him, you know, because of the perfection that he achieved was awe-inspiring. I mean, he was the fastest moving person you've ever seen. I mean, you'd reach out and pew, he was like a poo all over the place. We used to work out of his place, and he had a 700-pound bag hung on a big L iron, you know, or what do they call them, stuck in his patio, and it would on a big spring, and he would kick that thing and double it over. And I would kick it, and it would double me over. But he would, boom, get that thing just swinging back and forth and pop it and pop it. He was amazing, really amazing. And he's a great loss. A loss to me. I miss him daily.